Hello and welcome back to the Academy of the Magical Art. This is part 7 of our series, Signs of the Zodiac, where we will discuss the sign of Libra, the 7th house of the Zodiac. The Sun transits Libra between September 22nd and October 23rd. Her element is air, quality is cardinal, the sign's ruler is Venus, its detriment is Mars, Saturn is exalted in Libra, and the Sun falls in Libra. Libra is generally known as being depicted as the Greek personification of justice, divine law, and customs, who's known as Themis, and holds the scales of justice. This character later became the modern depiction of Lady Justice. However, this is the root of this character. Libra is generally symbolized as a griffin, which is a mythological creature holding the head, wings, and talons of an eagle and the hind legs of a lion. Libras are generally known as being very cooperative, diplomatic, fair-minded, and true lovers of justice. However, natives with their sun in Libra also hold the weaknesses of oftentimes being indecisive. They don't like to be confrontational. They'll carry a lot of things inside. They'll carry grudges and old feelings within them instead of facing them up front and putting them on the table. Being one who likes harmony, they very often do not want to do anything to disrupt the harmony of the relationships around them, even if that includes discussing with somebody hurt feelings or resolving issues with an individual. People that are born under the sun sign of Libra oftentimes hate being alone. Partnerships are very important for them, oftentimes having some kind of ingrained feeling or subconscious belief that another person will balance them out, finding it difficult to find balance within themselves, however being very, very good at finding balance and helping to harmonize the world around them. These individuals love balance and symmetry of all kinds. Generally, they'll be good at things dealing with geometry, numbers and equations, things that involve resolving issues such as engineering or mechanics. Libra suns are individuals that really require a lot of constant mental stimulus. They have a tendency to have strong intellects, very sharp minds, very sharp observational skills, and can be inspired by many different things ranging from music, good literature, art, and other things that help to move the soul. Oftentimes you'll find that trying to force these individuals to come to any kind of decision or to take some kind of a polarized standpoint is difficult due to the fact that it is, in essence, against their nature. It is their nature to try to find balance in situations, not pick sides. It's important for these individuals to have their opinions and have them allowed to be heard, because oftentimes you'll see them as being more quiet and reserved with their opinions until they're given an opportunity where they're asked to share them. Because Venus is the ruler of this planet, you'll find that these individuals make excellent partners, be it intimate and romantic or friends. I want to encourage you not to take a Libra's tendency to seem indecisive or undecided on things as an unwillingness to participate or get irritated with it. Oftentimes they are trying to figure out which place to put the next burden, which place the weight needs to fall upon. You have to remember that we live in a universe of extremes of all different varieties and arrays, and it is the Libra that is that very, 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 very small point in the middle that is true balance. You could have any measure of anything, be it length, temperature, weight, severity, anything, and the scale, the spectrum, will stretch as far as your mind can imagine. However, there is only one place on that spectrum where it is truly neutralized, and that place is Libra and the essence therein. Individuals with a Libra moon, keeping in mind that our moon is representative of our subconscious mind, the sun being representative of our conscious mind and our conscious workings. The need for peace and harmony will be even more extreme. Libras being air signs again, very intellectual, and the moon representing our subconscious mind. This desire to obtain balance is found having a much deeper root than an individual with their sun in Libra. An individual with their moon in Libra may find that they have an ingrained need or desire to deeply connect with all aspects of the world and the universe around them. It is within their nature to reach out and form connections, be it with nature, with animals, with people. There is a real talent for generating rapport and maintaining strong connections. When they see that their energy and that connection is fit or needs to be there. Being that Libra is a cardinal sign, they do have a need for change, because cardinal signs being the beginning of that element, always liquid in motion, the Libra moons will desire action in order to restore balance. They know subconsciously within their true paradigm that stagnation will never create or maintain balance. It is motion that keeps a balanced situation healthy. Libra moons would be wonderful diplomats or individuals that help other individuals maintain balance, be it as a counselor, an advocate, a legal advisor especially, be it just as a mediator or an actual practicing law attorney. It's almost instinctive for them to be able to truly connect with people, finding a harmonization between those two energies and those two souls. And as much, if not all of us know, in order to help somebody to heal or to find resolution, first there must be connection. Mercury, ruling our communication, our learning, and anything that has to do truly with intellect, being in Libra really promotes a natural skill for diplomacy. These individuals would be excellent working in politics or any other field that really requires to be able to not only connect with people, but negotiate between parties in a true political and diplomatic nature. These individuals really need to be careful, though, because when Mercury rests in Libra, there is a tendency to rest so much within the mind that connections with people can become stagnant. There is more time intellectualizing a relationship rather than feeling it, which can turn into a disastrous situation, especially with intimate interpersonal relationships rather than professional ones. It is in the nature of Libra, especially Mercury Libras, to constantly compare and contrast the information that they are presently receiving with information that they already have, using it as a reference point and not necessarily forming a new situation or a new opinion, but rather relying upon an older one. A good example of this would be an individual entering into a relationship and constantly comparing their current relationship with the past relationship. Oftentimes, the past relationship is the past relationship because there was something not right. So in comparing the current relationship with that past relationship, one is already in doing so setting themselves up for failure, manifesting that past result to become a present result. Individuals with their Mercury in Libra really do strive for balance and perfection, oftentimes having a tendency to become critical upon themselves or upon those around them. With those around them, they may have a more tactful approach. However, when they are in criticism of themselves, they have a tendency to become very harsh, and in doing so, leading to other dysfunctions such as depression or anxiety. It is best for an individual with their Mercury in Libra to really strive to become objective and stay that way, while still allowing them to feel their feelings and navigate through situations with fresh perspectives. Now, having your Venus in Libra, remembering that Venus is in its home in Libra, and Venus being the love sign or the love planet, a Libra Venus will be very exaggerative and very demonstrative with their affections, constantly wanting to impress and use new, fresh ideas to bring spice and flair to a relationship. Being kind and being fair are very important to these individuals, always wanting to nurture things and make them grow. Sometimes to a detriment, though, because of a tendency to invest a lot of time and energy into a situation that is trying to grow from infertile or thorny, stony ground. Sometimes it's just not going to work, and it's important to know when to let go. Earlier, when discussing Libra initially and solar Libras, I made a comment about a tendency to really hold emotions in and let them fester. This is especially true for a person who has their Venus in Libra, not wanting to cause the waters of the relationship to become rough. Oftentimes they'll hold these things within themselves instead of confronting the person with their emotions and feelings and resolving it. This can have a tendency to lead to resentment and all the other nasties that bottled up emotions really do bring. So that's something, if you do have your Venus in Libra, to keep a mindful eye on. Be willing to be open with your emotions and your feelings to things and express them so that they can be resolved, and knowing when to let go. So Mars in Libra I find to be rather interesting, because Mars is a planet of action, and Libra is known to be more indecisive. This is why Mars finds its detriment in Libra, is because of this bit of a clashing of personalities, if you will. Mars and Libras can be very effective. They may have a tendency to procrastinate, which is against the nature of the planet of Mars, because they are constantly weighing out these options and trying to find the balance point before coming to a decision. Now, these individuals, on the other hand, don't really have an issue with defending themselves or others that they feel are not being given proper justice. However, this oftentimes can be handled improperly, which can create upheaval before creating the balance, instead of just creating harmony and balance, which is ultimately their true goal. It is appearance of Mars and Libra individuals are very important to them. They do like to be appeared as being charming and very diplomatic. However, they may have a tendency to have a very passive-aggressive nature. The Mars energy says, I want to express how I'm feeling, I want to resolve this. And the Libra says, I want to hold it in. So instead, we find this passive-aggressive approach where they're oftentimes beating around the bush and handling it indirectly, which can oftentimes be taken very wrong by the person on the other end and make the problem worse. These individuals do have very good foresight. They can tell you how a situation is going to go and end up. And they're also, again, very good at compromise and conflict management when they themselves are detached from the situation. They will need a little bit extra motivation. They may find affection and romance a little bit more difficult, especially more difficult than a Venus Libra, and actually are known to have some issues in the bedroom as far as sex drive goes. However, once they find something that they are passionate about within themselves or within somebody else, such as a spouse, they can really be rather driven. It's important for these individuals to know that people are not mind readers. People are not going to be able to just know what they want, expect, or feel that they need. Instead, they need to be sure to communicate with the individuals around them face to face, really putting everything out on the table. Now, Jupiter, being our great expander and what is known as a lucky planet, shows us where we are going to find our greatest achievements. And with a Jupiter Libra, they will be most effective, they will be most successful, and feel most completed when they are completing their task of helping to find balance, helping to restore justice. I've found that when an individual really hones in on what their innate talents are, oftentimes they will find a passion and a purpose to go with it. So with Libras, finding a way to resolve conflict, restore balance, upkeep justice, resolve situations, fix things that are broken, all of these things will really serve them well in life and as they progress down their path, personally and with their career. They do enjoy having teams, especially or preferably teams of two, rather than approaching things from a one-on-one approach, especially when these individuals can share their visions. They share a like mind. This is what will really enhance a Jupiter Libra, is being with somebody of a very similar vibration, a very similar way of thought. You'll find that these people are very much humanitarians. They love people, they love the world around them, and they want to work to improve it and make it better. There is a warning with an individual with a Jupiter in Libra, though, to keep a watchful eye on their ego, not to let it get too big, not to be greedy or snobbish at all, which is, in doing so, an indication that they are falling on the opposite side of the spectrum. They are falling far out of balance and not in a productive, positive way. It is important to keep a mindful eye on the self and keep the selves in check. Saturn, the planet that is exalted in Libra, is in itself a peace and balance keeper. Saturn is a planet that is known for boundaries, for keeping things just. The planet that really symbolizes law and karma. So an individual with Saturn in Libra would be excellent. Again, diplomats, people that are in law enforcement, people that really focus on maintaining justice and order. These individuals oftentimes spend so much time trying to maintain and upkeep balance in the world around them that personal relationships will be a little bit difficult. And they may also be known to have low viewpoints or low self-esteems with themselves. Oftentimes they will have feelings of being not good enough or unlovable, and rather than accepting and embracing new relationships, new change, they will reject it or try to shut themselves off and build a wall around themselves from it. However, these individuals do really crave having good, solid relationships, and opening themselves up to that, they afford themselves a lot of different opportunities and experiences. These individuals will really need to spend a lot of time learning that natural interaction with others. Saturn Libras have a tendency to see things a little bit black and white, very similar to law. Law is very black and white. And relationships, as we know, are colorful and constantly changing. So to be able to level with individuals and connect with them, a Saturn Libra would be good at it, but they need a little bit more work on that aspect, learning how to master that natural talent that they have. These individuals, too, will have a tendency to bottle some of their emotions, which can create some negative physical manifestations, especially with our filtration systems, such as our kidneys, our intestinal tract, and generally in our lower back, as these are where these organs are stored, and this is where this energetic exchange takes place. These individuals will balance, will cherish discipline, almost to an extreme of OCD with some individuals. So while it is important for them to learn to maintain balance and healthily function in a disciplined and structured way, it is important for those around them to love and accept this aspect of them. These individuals may have a little bit rougher lessons than most, just learning how to relate and interact with the world around them. However, once these lessons and these traits are learned, their lives can be very rewarding and productive. So Uranus, being the innovator, a little bit of the rebel, the forward-moving progressiveness planet of astrology, when individuals find their Uranus in Libra, oftentimes they'll be very gifted artistically with literature and poetry or writing and with music. They are very unique in their ways of expressing themselves. As Uranus is a very expressive planet, Libras being able to stand in the middle and look at all the different sides of the spectrums, all the facets of the diamond. They really have a large palette from which to work when creating and expressing themselves. These individuals actually are known to have a love or a passion for the occult, for the deeper secrets and the deeper mysteries. Oftentimes they will have keen intuitions and vivid imaginations and be very connected with their subconscious mind, and have a natural ability to take what rests within the subconscious mind and bring it forward into the conscious mind. These individuals are generally known as being far-sighted, having a good capacity for being able to play things out, having a very good capacity for reason and logic, and they can be very ambitious. On the other hand, however, they are also very stubborn, very private. They don't like people in their business or telling them what to do. That's when you might see that little streak of rebellion pop up from Uranus, and sometimes including a bit of a temper. This is really a planet and house placement that values and loves dynamic change and bringing balance and harmony through that dynamic change. Whereas we saw with Mars, it was a little bit more of a chaotic change. Uranus will balance things out a little bit more and make that change more graceful and free-flowing. Neptune, representing inspiration, dreams, psychic ability, spirituality, and starting to move up into the upper chakras a little bit more. It having an association with spiritual enlightenment and Libra really gives somebody that likes to find harmony, not only with relationships with others, but they begin to look a little bit deeper within themselves to harmonize themselves. Their journey is more inward than outward. While they do enjoy relationships and have a longing to form deep relationship with people, they understand that without that inner work and that inner change, these relationships can have a tendency to become empty. These individuals also will have a propensity and a love for art of all different kinds, being more in touch with themselves and having more of an inner journey. They too, similar to Uranus, will have an innate ability to express themselves in very creative fashions. If not already, these individuals really have a draw towards waking up and looking into the light of truth to raise their vibration and open their consciousness. Their attitude and their approach to traditionalism, such as our traditional societies, traditional religion, really is indifferent. They have a much different approach and see these things as more of a box and are not real fond of these boxes. So instead, these individuals will have a tendency to blaze their own path and find their own way at not only completing themselves, but finding resolution in the world around them. Pluto, oftentimes being associated with the underworld, with death, and with transition, shows us a pretty unique relationship and association with Libra. Pluto being all about death, renewal, and rebirth, new beginnings, and new awakenings. These individuals really have a desire to have a deep understanding of the world around them, but can have a tendency to be a bit impulsive, a bit compulsive, and have a tendency to really act before they put a lot of thought through it. The last time Pluto transited Libra was 1971 to 1984, so we do have a while before we're going to see this transit again. These individuals really work very diligently at maintaining the relationships with the individuals around them. This is how they find their transformation within themselves, is by understanding those people and those connections around them, seeing them as kind of a mirror. These individuals also have a very good knack for finding a middle ground. They are able to compromise and find compromise in almost any situation or issue. and in doing so create something new from that compromise. This is kind of the twist that Pluto brings to the situation, is we see the death of the situation, the compromise, and the renewal of a new situation or a new contract. I want to thank you all for joining with me today at the Academy of the Magical Art, and until next time, blessed be.